A pleasant good morning to all and sundry, friends, fans, foes, well-wishers. A pleasant good morning and welcome to this edition of Richard Rant. Of course, okay, for professional reasons, some things need to be explained over and over. So, regardless of the time of day, as you know, I do wish you a good morning because the morning is that time of the day when nothing has gone wrong. You wake up, you feel good for the most part. Nothing has gone wrong as yet for the day. And it's full of promise and possibilities. And that's the sentiment I always wish to you. Thank you for tuning in. The last rant, I was able to start on a positive note, or what I thought was positive, and I liked that. So I'm going to try to continue that, but it was hard. Nevertheless, I was able to find a soccer bag specialist. Yes. So this chick, she drank the Kool-Aid that once it is you be a good girl and you go to school and you get a nice education, you get a fat wallet, and it didn't work out. And she decided that she liked to suck back. That's not true. That wasn't in the article. Actually, I can't even remember what led her there, because I distinctively remember reading that she said she never had a sucker bag. So I really don't know where the connection came from. But nevertheless, Madam is a sucker bag specialist. Madam have a little business. It's on the socials. Madam do research and she see that the people that was currently producing sucker bag only producing generic flavors. Mama get in she kitchen and she mix a concoction and now she's a specialist. That's what I like. That's what I like, is a sucker bag. Why it is all they didn't make a suck? Why they didn't put some juice in a bag and sell it on Instagram? I love it. I wonder if she have any with a little rum or a little scotch. Oh, she's a specialist. Anyway, apparently, normally every single link that comes from the newspaper does be wrong. Maybe it's a sabotage, maybe it's a scene, I do not know. I doesn't check it again because I doesn't want to be disappointed. But you could probably Google her. Edo wouldn't have a lot of people with that name, and But according to the newspaper, she could be found at D_suck_A, not AH, A_bag_specialist. So if you could give her a blight, No, we move on. Oh no, we have one more. Cuba. Oh, how I love the idea of that island. I don't know everything about it, and at some point in time, apart from going there, I really, really have to do some research on that island. That island is warm me in all my special places because they are completely, and they just function without this US, without this. They are island of integrity. They might be a people of integrity, and there are few people that swim across the sea to get to America. It's pale in comparison to the amount of people living in Cuba. They are the only Caribbean country that trying to make a vaccine. Since the beginning of this thing, I was asking why it is all these children that we spend to get free education, why it is we in dinner in UE now in some kind of think tank situation making a vaccine. I get a set of Nancy of stories and stories of the Nancys as to why, but all it says they had to do is put wherever they learn together and we pay for that. Repatriate them. Not Lupita and Cornisha and Mark and Khalifa. Repatriate them, bring them home, put them in a lab and let me make something. And then Kamala would not be calling money behind Didi back. Anyway, so big up to Cuba. Enough respect. Even we just run up Cuba when it is we sick. Wish Pat Rowley and them went. Anyway, I don't want to hit another 40. All right, so we'll start with the starting of the why it is the ruin the rant. It has come to my attention, shockingly so, that the police service, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, has a high public approval rating. I looked outside to see if it was snowing, but it went on to explain. I trying not to remember the fact that it have the case going on with the police that killed the 4 people in the car in Caledonia and try to kill the survivor, or the one that arrests the man that say is because you're with my girlfriend that was riding on his bike and say he had weed and now the state had to pay him $250,000. That I try not to go back there. And you know what? I don't even have to go back, An accident happened over the weekend with somebody TTV'd herself off the whole highway into a burgerman cat. And the burgerman from the hospital bed trying to figure out exactly what it will take for the police to arrest the driver. That happened in crossing. Then the state have to pay a man $250,000 in this time when it is we $10 billion deficit for this part of the year. We had to pay a man $250,000 because the police take his firearm wrongfully when he had a whole license and a half. Apparently, it was conducted online by a company called Aquila Pro Coop, and they are some sort of an international situation, and no police officers were interviewed. So I do not know if it is the people online completely out of touch with reality, if it wasn't police officers but friends and favors owed to Gary. Gary also got a very high approval rating, by the way, but I have a bias towards him. Lately I find he has been looking up, but I have a bias. Like he am an anti-cam. Let me check to see. Trinidad poll rates Gary with a 59%. Oh, no. Sorry, the police get a 59% approval. Gary approval was in the 80s. He didn't pass every category, but he did well. So that's all I would say about that. Right? I don't know if the people on them online, I just said that's all I would say, but I don't know if it's the people online, they're out of touch with reality, if it's friends like Gary, if it's a lie and money pass, but that is what the Guardian say, the Guardian of democracy, and the Guardian jumping out themselves these days because the government get vexed with them and they had to withhold ministry money from them, and that is what does make the thing go wrong. So the Guardian most impartial and unbiased these days. Papers get thicker, all kind of thing, like a drinking porridge. Then I'm looking at this THA thing. I thought that Andrea would have outlived THA fiasco, but Andrea boiling down as expected. Although it's supposed to have a women's march, walk out, or a women's shutdown, something on International Women's Day, which is next week Monday. I feel the same thing will happen with that happened with Watson. Due call for the public servants to not go to work. As a matter of fact, a public servant say he don't really have the real interest at heart. He's just a pappy showpiece to the media. But up to now, THA can't figure out how it is to elect a new person because of a tie. So this have to be why it is every single business the government touch just fail. That is why the government can't sell water, they can't sell sugar, they can't sell air, they can't sell nothing. Look how long this going on. Which is what you just be doing, so measuring things, measuring distance. You would swear like if you don't have constitutional provisions so that you come together, you make a law, you split a seat, party done. Or if it is you have the best interest of the people in heart, you make a coalition government. It's been done before with anti-cam. Or was it Pandy? Anti-cam was a part of it. Let me give. Speaking of International Women's Day and the women, I didn't understand this article, right? And I'm curious now, even more so about women, because you see those 300, to be specific, 297 girls that get kidnapped in Africa is children. When I delve further into it, it's not, I assume it was teenage, but it's children. So like preteens, like 9 to 12, that kind of thing, right? But for the life of me, I still can't understand how it is you could kidnap 300 people. That's a kind of submissiveness. So I'm wondering if it's because it's a woman, if it's women, if it's girls. They didn't kidnap 300 boys. Yesterday I threw out on the socials if it is maids that get raped. Because if it is rape is this big thing that happening in women's safety and violence, some men against women, I would think that it would be very easy to so-called hire a maid, she already in your house, and then you can make a whole Lifetime movie / Pornhub situation. But I've been told by an anonymous source that it does happen, but it goes unreported. So I'll do a little more digging into that. I don't understand why it would go unreported. And then similarly in this story now, this is a grown woman, full, no breadfruit ripe. Shouldn't really say that because she's dead. May she rest in peace. But apparently she was getting beat. Woodups whadups. And police reports were made and all of that. The article is very confusing because she moved out of one house and into another house, and she's living with a male relative, they say. The male relative went to work and come back home and meet she dead. But apparently she was living in another house, and this, to me, they say with a male relative. I read it 3 times, so I assume it was a typo. So my spin on it is that she was living with the man. The man was beaten she. She leave the man and move in with this male relative. The man finds she, beat she, and kill she. However, I don't understand how it is you get the family and thing come out and say she was getting licks for a year and she was bawling, and how this man when he beating she. And I don't understand how you getting licks for a year. Even if it is you free the person, or if it is the person paying your bills or something, you don't know how to put a little lanet in your kasamse and feed him a little bleach. I not understand how what's going on in your mind to take licks for a year. He don't sleep. What about if it is you just take a little hot oil and throw on him? He don't. When he go and sleep, you get him. Why you ain't just kill him? A rock, a stone, a knife. Police reports and stuff were made. So, I'm only saying this because at the end of the day, the right rules were followed. So when that didn't work for you, how you managed to get licks until you dead? I need to do some research to understand. It remind me of one of my female friends specifically telling me, I don't understand, I's a man. So I need to, like you don't have no knife in your house. The man must be sleeping at some point. A little kerosene. Even if it is you take a little bug spray and a lighter. Anyway. Don't put the lanet in the kasamse though, because you might absorb it. But, you could have been creative. A little dental dam. Anyway, I digress. If all you have an input on this one, inbox me. I'm really curious. So in another one, previously I had talked about how it is the water come through the pipe. I can't remember what adjective I did use, but it was canal water. So apparently a contractor actually did dump silt into a tributary that leads to the Caroni. Did I pronounce that correct? People used to laugh at me, Caroni. Yeah, that place. So they used to they dumped the dirt in the water, and that is what it is which quite down in my pipe here. So that was interesting. Government pursuing legal action. Nobody want to claim it, but the company is a quarry company, and so we'll see if anything come out of it. If it was sabotage, if it's domestic terrorism, if it's a political statement, because it also had issues where they had sabotage the flood pumps in Bamboo. And I was trying to figure out, well, why? Because at the end of the day, you're not really hurting anybody that hurting you. Unless it is somebody in the Bamboo, and it wasn't even a part of the Bamboo with the cars, but unless somebody in the Bamboo get you a bad deal on a car part. Speaking of violence of the domestic kind and male-female stuff, it is my humble understanding that the law only provides a male rape from another male, and it has to be buggery. Buggery is such a weird, disgusting. Why we can't just say Who come up with that word? Anyway, so in essence, a woman can't rape a man, although physically they can. And if you don't know, message me, I'll tell you how. But it's only recognized male. But to my surprise, it have a court case going on now. Of course, it's not recent. It's 2 years old. So at the time, the accused would have been 18 years old. His neighbor, who remained unnamed, no age, no nothing, just the gender, was outside in the yard, and he offered the neighbor $100 to perform a sex act. I figure if it was buggery, they would have said buggery, but they didn't. And the neighbor said no. And I don't understand how we transitioned from the yard, but the boy was then locked in a room and forced to perform the sex act. Some days after, he went and tell, and then the neighbor get charged, have a restraining order, and they're now going to court 2 years later. So, and he's charged for rape and false imprisonment. So, note to self, if you lock somebody in a room, that's false imprisonment. So I'll be following that case, because if it was buggery, they would have said buggery. And if it is to charge him with rape, then either one, I'm mistaken on the parameters for male rape, or two, this legal case could set precedent here to actually get some more rights to men. And for those that might know what judicial precedent is, when it is a judge rules on a case, their ruling becomes law. So yes, laws are made through the parliament and all of that, but it's also made through the judiciary based on their rulings. So if they deviate from the law for whatever reason, it can be like killing somebody illegal, but the judge decided legal. But it had to be only many fine things now. So what they decide, then that ruling will create precedent, thus making it law. So this could be interesting, I think. And then in the business section, it came to my attention that Scotia in Guyana, they sell themselves to FCB in Trinidad. So I was remembering the days when I used to do sales for people. And you could not work in a media house and an insurance company. That is a conflict. You couldn't sometimes even work on other brands within the same media house. That is a conflict. You can't be on air and in the office. That is a conflict. So how it is one bank could buy another bank, and it's now a conflict. How these big people just get to do what they want. You could be a minimum wage worker and have 2 jobs, but them 2 jobs you could be working KFC in the day and Royal Castle in the night. But I guess if it is you was big, you could have do it, or is it if it is you had a fat wallet to throw on the table? Maybe a fat purse does run things. That is a code I would like to crack, That is a code I would like to crack. Another piece of interesting news. Dr. Seuss racist. The man dead and gone donkey years now, but now he racist. Beloved childhood author is racist. Apparently he has some book with some black people in a grass cage and some Chinese man eating noodles and that thing, and apparently that racist now. So his family is going to stop the publication of those racist books, those horrendous things, to protect his estate. Now get this piece of sexiness here. This man is the second highest paid dead celebrity in the world. Michael Jackson is the first. These bitches making more money than you and me and she put together, and they're dead. We are alive, you know, and they're still making more money than we. How that possible? And it's not a jealous thing, it's a legit question. I want to get a piece of that before I'm dead. So I do have to work. And we ain't talking no pay money, you know. But in the same sense, Dr. Seuss, whose intentions would have only been noble, and those characters were probably meant to invoke humor, is getting censored from the grave. But it have a whole black news channel launching in America, on cable and online, to report the real news. And that is the name of it. It's not, it have a black news. No, the name, you see like CNN, Fox, right. Black news channel. But they're not racist. Go Pollock really in see Pollock, you know. Go Pollock is not see Pollock. So we come into the end now of today. And I want to end it positive again with some sexiness. I cannot pronounce this word at all, and I had a few pronunciation issues during this rant. So, a company, it started with a S, it looked like a ANCH. They have finally made pan tutorials online using Adobe. That is amazing. So you could teach pan, you could learn pan. And another company is partnering with Hatco to produce pans, because their research showed that pan orders does take years to be filled. So they're going to open a pan factory. And the first objective of that pan factory is to make the pan accessible to schools. So instead of us learning to play the recorder, we would learn to play the pan. Let's let that sink in. And if you could tell me why we was learning the recorder in the first place, inbox me. And the last part is that there's a shoe retail business for sale. The owner's retiring and they're selling their business. And it's only 1.8 million they're selling it for. It have houses that only sitting down in that more expensive than that. It means, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, fans, foes, and well-wishers, you could afford to buy a business. I want you to start to think about things like this. Instead of buying a mortgage, which is a liability, you could buy a business and let the business pay the mortgage for the house. We need to do better. We need to do better. And in every way, when signing out, I would humbly ask that you just do your best and continue to improve on what that best is. So thanks for listening to another edition of Richard Rants. It's humbly appreciated. Big up to Mikkel. Remember, for all your electronic repairs, inbox me, send it to him, and have a pleasant night or day. Good morning. Vibes.